Magandang umaga, tanghali o gabi sa lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig at sa lahat ng nanonood. In our previous episode, we discussed the non-immigrant waiver for inadmissibility based on the matter of Hirangka, which requires only that there should be no harm to the United States if you were granted another tourist visa and the violations is not that serious enough, and that there should be a good reason to come to the United States. Napakababaw po ng threshold o requirements na kailangan ipalad para bigyan ng waiver. At yung nag-decide po niyan ay ang Admissibility Review Office. Ngayon naman po tayo ay dadako dito sa immigrant visa waivers. Let's say for fraud. Also, fraud and misrepresentation. So for example, merong isang immigrant visa applicant, inilihim niya na may mga anak siya. Yung pala, may mga anak siya. Kasi nag-aalala siya na baka hindi siya mag-qualify sa immigrant visa, or pinetition pala siya ng kanyang US citizen parent. Inilihim pa niya na siya ay may asawa. Kasi kapag may asawa ang anak ng US citizen, 22 years ang waiting time niyan, more or less. Pero kapag single or unmarried yung anak ng US citizen at 21 and above, mga 12 to 14 years lang yan, makakarating na sa US. So, ang waiver po na pag-uusapan natin ay dalawa. Yung fraud waiver na Section 212 L, small letter L, Section 212 L of the Immigration and Nationality Act, fraud waiver. Ito po, kapag kayo nagpa-process na ng green card ninyo sa US Embassy at natuklasan nila na kayo ay nag-commit ng fraud or misrepresentation, magpapal kayo nung Form I-601. May filing fee po yan, kaya ibig sabihin yan, madidesisyonan yan in probably 3 to 6 months. But anyway, hindi kayo may issue ng immigrant visa unless the US Immigration, USCIS, kung sinong opisina ang nag-approve nung immigrant visa ninyo, doon din kayo magfa-file ng US waiver, immigrant waiver under Section 212 IL. Ito po kasi yung pangyayari, the mother petitioner came to my office relating that her daughter got married and the marriage turned sour and they became separated. So for 18 years, the daughter never bothered to inform her anymore because the relationship as husband and wife never flourished. And when she was processing the requirements at the National Visa Center and the US Embassy, all documents she submitted did not disclose that she was in fact married or that she now has 3 children with another man, not her husband. So when she was interviewed at the embassy, the officer learned that she had 3 children. She was asked whether she wanted to bring the 3 children with her to the US, and she said yes. It was then that the daughter was informed that she cannot get the green card because she fraudulently hid the fact that she was married and that she is wrongly represented that she is single. So siguro ayaw niya ipaalam doon sa na kaya siya hindi married, kaya siya ay hindi niya sinabing married siya kasi lilitaw na yung anak niya, pagka sinabi niya, iba ang ama, hindi yung asawa niya. So kasi kung minsan meron tayong kinahihiya natin yon or for whatever reason ayaw natin ipaalam, kasi nga mahirap kumuha ng annulment at wala naman divorce sa Philippines. Ano po? So, the commission of the fraud unfortunately renders anyone inadmissible for life if waiver is not granted. Ano po? So ngayon, ang fraud waiver, kailangan niya ng extreme and unusual hardship of the parent and or spouse noong beneficiary. So, yun lamang ang qualifying relative kapag nag-a-apply ng fraud waiver. Yung US citizen or green card holder na parent or spouse. Hindi po kasama rito yung children, ha? Kasi kung meron kayong US citizen na children, you cannot use their hardship for that waiver. You can only use the hardship on your US citizen or green card holder parent or spouse. Luckily, for this situation, meron siyang 84-year-old mother because the father is now deceased and estranged with their Filipino citizen spouse. So, yan po ang ating senaryo. So, kailangan natin mag-apply ng waiver. Ano po? So, remember, this waiver is for those who are about to get a green card. This is different from those who obtained a green card whose fraud was discovered when they apply for naturalization or when they petition their spouse or children. Kasi yung iba, nag-asawa na pala, hindi sinasabi na nag-asawa na. Kasi nga, especially if the petitioner is a legal permanent resident parent, ay hindi pwedeng mag-petition ang parent ng may asawa na anak. So ngayon, pagka nakarating na sila ng Amerika as green card holder, noon lang nila i-disclose kapag nag-apply sila ng citizenship na meron na pala silang asawa. Kasi magsasubmit sila ngayon ng mga birth certificate ng mga anak nila. Lilitaw doon na, uy, married ka pala eh. So kasi nakalagay doon sa birth certificate ng Filipino citizen or children ng ang date and place of marriage ng parents. So kaya madidiscover doon. Pagka nireconcile ng officer yung kanyang data doon sa bagong information, lilitaw na, uy, nung dumating ka pala rito ay ano ka na, may asawa ka na. Hindi ka dapat magkaroon ng green card. So, ang nangyayari, i-repair siya ngayon for deportation. Sa halip na maging citizen, deportation ang kanyang bagsak. Ang tawag po doon sa waiver naman na yun ay Section 237A1H waiver. Ito yung may green card na, na-issue ng green card, nakarating Amerika, tapos na-discover yung fraud. Okay po? Hindi po ito yung pinag-uusapan natin. Ang pinag-uusapan natin, nag-a-apply ito ng immigrant visa, na-discover yung fraud, so ang a-applyan niya ay I-601 waiver under 212 IL. Ano po ang ating waiver na ina-applyan? 212 IL. So ano po ba ang requirements dito? Meron din po itong case na pwedeng pagbasihan ng mga requirements na kailangan para mag-grant itong waiver na ito. No? Ang requirements po under the matter of NGAI, NGAI, ito po yung extreme hardship na kailangang i-present at ipakita na that the US citizen parent or spouse or green card holder parent or spouse will suffer extreme and unusual hardship. Ano po? So, the factors to be considered are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 6 po ang factors na kino-consider ng US Immigration para i-grant yung I-601 waiver for extreme hardship of parent and spouse. So number 1, sabihin ko lang muna itong mga headings na ito para babalikan natin isa-isa ulit later on. Number 1 is health. Number 2 is financial considerations. Number 3 ay education. Number 4, personal considerations. Number 5, special factors. And number number 6, any other situation that you feel may help you meet the burden of extreme hardship. So, ano po ba yung health naman? So, balik tayo sa number 1. Ano po? Factor. Ongoing or specialized treatment requirements for a physical or mental condition, availability and quality of such treatment in your country, anticipated duration of the treatment, whether the condition is a chronic or acute or long or short term. So, parang nako-confuse ako dito sa on your country. Pero, ang po rito, hindi natin kailangan ipakita yung hardship noong beneficiary. Ang kailangan natin ipakita yung hardship that the U.S. citizen parent or spouse will suffer if she is to live with her daughter or son, or kung spouse with her spouse, dun sa Philippines kapag hindi siya pinayagan na makarating sa Amerika. So ano ba ang health effects on the health of the U.S. citizen parent or spouse? Number 2, financial considerations. Ito yung future employability, loss due to sale of home or business, or termination of a professional practice, decline in standard of living, ability to recoup short-term losses, cost of extraordinary needs, such as special education or training for children, cost of care for family members, that is elderly and infirm parents. So again, yung hardship na dadanasin noong U.S. citizen parent spouse, ang kailangan nating sabihin sa immigration na dadanasin nila kapag sila ay hindi pinayagang makapunta ng Amerika at lahat sila ngayon ay maninirahan na doon sa Pilipinas. Number 3, education. Loss of opportunity for higher education, lower quality or limited scope of education options. Disruption of current program, availability of special requirements such as training programs or internships in specific fields. So again, ito yung hardship that will be imposed on the U.S. citizen parent or spouse kapag hindi pinayagang makarating dito sa Amerika. Number 5, special factors. Cultural, language, religious, and ethnic obstacles. Valid fears of persecution, physical harm or injury, social ostracism or stigma, access to social institutions or structures. So, kapag mahihirapan yung U.S. citizen parent or spouse or green card holder parent or spouse dito sa mga special factors na ito, pag tumira sila doon sa country ng beneficiary, kasi baka merong mga paghihirap na i-impose itong cultural, language, religious, and ethnic obstacles, isa po yan sa factors. 6 ito eh. And then yung last one, any other situation that you feel may help you meet the burden of extreme hardship. So, kailangan po natin ipakita at ipaalam sa U.S. Immigration sa pagpa-file ng I-601 waiver yung mga factors na ito. Kailangan natin i-discuss yan kasi wala yan dun sa form. Tatanungin lang doon, ano ba yung hardship na daranasin nung iyong magulang or green card holder na magulang or asawa. So, ikaw ngayon ang magdi-discuss nito. Buti nga merong case law ito yung matter of nga para ngayon tulungan ka na alamin ano ba yung factors na kailangan makita ng U.S. Immigration. So, napakahirap po nito kumpara doon sa non-immigrant visa na tourist na inadmissibility waiver. Ano po? Kasi doon sa tourist visa, hindi kailangan ng qualifying relative na parent or spouse na green card holder or US citizen. Pero dito, sa fraud waiver ng mga immigrants, kailangan mo na meron kang qualifying relative na US citizen or green card holder, parent or spouse. So, yan po ang sinasabi ko na mas mahirap i-overcome itong immigrant visa waiver kumpara doon sa non-immigrant visa waiver. Ano po? So anyway, tandaan po natin yan. Section 212IL waiver. At ang case law po niyan ay matter of ngay. So magkaiba po ito kesa doon sa requirement ng non-immigrant visa like a tourist visa. As you remember, the waiver is under section 212D as in dog, section 212D3 of the Immigration Nationality Act for non-immigrants. At ang case law po doon ay matter of Haranka, H-R-A-N-K-A. Dito naman sa immigrant visa waiver under section 212IL of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Yan po ay matter of ngay, NGAI. Ngayon, kailan naman ba pwedeng gamitin yung children, US citizen children? And bukod dun sa parent and spouse as qualifying relatives. Ano po? Merong isang waiver para sa 3 and 10-year bar. Ibig sabihin, nag-overstay ka sa US, pupunta ka ngayon dun sa Pilipinas, babalik ka para doon mo kunin yung green card mo. Kasi nagkaroon ka ng 3 and 10-year bar dahil lumabas ka after nag-overstay. So dito sa waiver na yan, pwedeng sabihin yung hardships sa mga anak na US citizen o green card holder. So doon po sa waiver na yon, 3 and 10-year bar waiver, pwedeng sabihin yung hardship that will be imposed on the children. Kasi sometimes wala kang parent, wala kang spouse, pero meron kang US citizen children, meron ka na ngayon na qualifying relative. So at least 3 na ang pagpipilian mo. But anyway, that will be the subject of another episode. But for now, nakita nyo kung gaano kabigat ang factors at saka yung requirement for a extreme and unusual hardship on a qualifying relative. So, kailangan may qualifying relative. Pag walang qualifying relative, hindi ka makakapag-apply ng green card waiver for fraud, halimbawa. So, kasi for example, ang nag-apply sa yung sister mo ng pumitisyon sa'yo, or ang pumitisyon sa'yo yung anak mo, pwede kang makarating dito, di ba? Kaso, kailangan mo ng parent or spouse. Paano kung yung spouse mo ay sabay lang kayo pupunta rito? Yung parent mo naman, hindi pa green card or US citizen. Anak mo lamang ang nagpetisyon sa'yo na US citizen. So, kung meron kang fraud or misrepresentation, hindi ka makakapag-apply ng waiver dahil wala kang qualifying relative na parent or spouse. So, yan po ang reason kung ba't mahirap i-apply yan. Because sometimes you might not have a qualifying relative. And even if you have a qualifying relative, pag wala silang hardship, wala tayong magagawang waiver doon. So, this is Attorney A. Erwin Bautista in another episode of US Immigration Made Easy dito po sa US Visa question and answer portion. So, don't forget to look us up at Attorney A. Erwin Bautista in Facebook if you have questions, or go to bautistalaw.com and click the contact us for your questions. Ano po? So, you can also watch us in TikTok or YouTube or Reels at saka po dyan sa Flash TV dyan sa Philippines. Ngayon, yung pong TikTok natin, ang address po natin dyan US Visa Q&A. Napakadali pong hanapin at i-type. So, sige po. See you again in our next episode. This is Attorney A. Erwin Bautista saying goodbye. See you next time. Bye-bye.